Portugal has roughly the same population as Ohio. Let that sink in for a moment. If Portugal were a US state, it wouldn't even rank among the largest in America. It would sit somewhere around Ohio, with just over 10 million people. And yet somehow, this tiny nation keeps producing world-class football talent. Generation after generation, Portugal continues to compete with, and often surpass, the biggest football nations on earth. That shouldn't be possible. Brazil has 20 times more people. France has 7 times more. England has 5 times more. These countries have larger populations, larger economies, larger football infrastructures, and larger domestic leagues. If talent were simply a numbers game, Portugal should lose every time. More people should mean more players. More players should mean more future stars. At least, that's what common sense would suggest. But reality tells a completely different story. So why does Portugal keep winning? And more importantly, what secret did they discover that bigger countries missed? The answer begins decades ago. Portugal realized it could never outspend Europe's giants. It simply couldn't buy the world's best players. The money wasn't there, the resources weren't there. Trying to compete financially would have been a losing battle. So Portugal made a different decision. Instead of buying talent, it decided to manufacture it. Benfica, Porto, Sporting. These weren't just football clubs anymore. They became talent factories. Every child became a potential investment. Every academy became part of a carefully designed production line. And slowly, the machine started working. Year after year, young players entered the system. Year after year, better players emerged from it. And before long, the results started attracting attention from across Europe. The system was producing talent at a rate far beyond what anyone expected from such a small country. And eventually, those results would change football forever. Most people think Portugal's success begins with Cristiano Ronaldo. It doesn't. Ronaldo was the result, not the cause. Before the superstar existed, the system already did. And after the superstar retires, the system will still exist. Because Portugal was never building individual stars. It was building a process designed to identify talent early, develop it efficiently, and prepare it for the highest level of competition. But then, Portugal discovered something even more powerful, a completely different way to teach football. A professor named Vitor Freire challenged conventional thinking. Most coaches treated football as separate skills: passing, fitness, defense, attack. Each trained independently, each developed separately. Freire believed that approach was wrong. He believed everything was connected. Every pass, every movement, every decision, everything affected everything else. Football wasn't a collection of individual skills. It was a system, and if you wanted smarter players, you needed to train them inside that system. Those ideas spread throughout Portugal. Academies embraced them, coaches adopted them, young players grew up inside them, and the results were remarkable. Portugal wasn't just producing better players, it was producing smarter players. Players who understood movement, space, timing, decision-making, players who could solve problems faster than their opponents. But there was one final ingredient, something no academy could teach, something no tactical system could create: culture. In Portugal, football isn't just a sport, it's part of everyday life. Children play in the streets. Families gather to watch matches. Entire communities celebrate victories together. For many young players, football represents something bigger than a game. It represents opportunity, a chance to build a better future, a chance to change their lives. And when hunger meets elite coaching, extraordinary things begin to happen. Which brings us to today. The next wave isn't coming, it's already here. A new generation of Portuguese talent is emerging. And then came the biggest clue of all. In 2025, Portugal won. the Under-17 European Championship. Then it won the Under-17 World Cup the same year. Think about that for a moment. A country with roughly the same population as Ohio produced the best youth team in Europe, and then produced the best youth team in the world. That's not luck. That's a system. A system that has been refined for decades. A system that keeps improving itself. A system that continues producing talent generation after generation. Which brings us back to Ohio, a place with roughly the same population. Yet Portugal built a machine capable of competing with giants. Not because it was bigger, not because it was richer, but because it found a better way. And perhaps that's the real lesson hidden inside this story. Success isn't always about having the most resources. Sometimes it's about building the best system. Right now, somewhere in Portugal, a young kid is kicking a football. Nobody knows his name. Nobody knows what he'll become. But the system is already looking for him, already developing him, already preparing the next generation. And if this process continues, what other small countries could do the same thing?